Morning, Council. I call you Chair, but you only have one Chair today. Welcome. All the best.
Good morning, Council.
Morning, my Lord.
My name is Justice Mohammed Ibrahim, Commissioner. Karibu.
Thank you, my Lord.
Good morning, Mr. Wanyonyi.
Morning, my Ladyship.
My name is Fatuma Sichale, Judge of Appeal and Commissioner. I think I know you.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you, and thank you so much.
Morning, Wakili.
Morning.
My name is Charity Kisotu, a commissioner. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Ruto is my name, member of the JSC.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Good morning, Council.
Morning, Commissioner.
I am Zilani Caroline, Commissioner. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is David Majanja, Commissioner. Welcome.
Thank you, my Lord.
Thank you, Honourable Commissioners, for that introduction. We will delve into the interview on your application for the position of the Judge of the High Court. Before we do that, please confirm your county and your ethnicity.
Thank you so much, Your Ladyship. My names are John Walter Wanyonyi. My county is Trans Nzoia. My ethnicity is Luya. The dialect is Bukusu.
Thank you very much.
All right. I'm looking at your CV.
Yes.
And what I'm noting is that you started in private practice, that is from 1999 up to 2012.
Yes.
Right, for about, that should be roughly about 12, 13 years.
Sorry, Commissioner, it was 1995. Unless if it was an error,
19?
but I was admitted in 1995. That's when I started practice.
Yes.
But 1999, I started my farm.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, so up to 2012, you are basically in private practice.
Yes.
So you are there for, you are largely about how many years?
In practice, that is from 1995 to 2012. That is about 17 years.
17 years.
Yes.
So now you crossed over to Directorate of Public Prosecutions.
Very well.
That is from 2012.
Yes.
And all the way up to, I think, 2018.
Up to 2018.
Yeah, that's about 6 years.
Yes.
That's right. Now, then again, you went back to private practice.
Very well.
To date.
Yes.
Now, could you explain to the Honorable Commission the reasons why you started in private practice, went to public service, then left after having risen to Senior Assistant Director in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, then you went back again to private practice? What informed that decision?
Yes, the decision that informed my going to public service was my desire to serve the public and to serve Kenya as a whole, because since my childhood I had that dream of serving in the justice sector. Because from my history, when I was brought up, I saw that there was great injustice that time. And there was an event that happened when we were going to school with my father, who was a teacher. He happened to be harassed by certain policemen, and they followed him up to school. So they arrested him and placed him in custody. And all the time, they were demanding for a bribe. So my father said he will not give a bribe. He better goes to jail than giving out a bribe, which was contrary to his belief. So from that, he said, I wish if one of my sons could be a lawyer or a judge to fight out the injustice that is there. So that was the desire, and that is what prompted me to move from private practice to public service. And now that I'd also served Kenyans in that capacity, so it was also for a change, just to deliver service from the other sector.
Yeah, that's fine. But you see now, it's well-intentioned, no doubt.
Yes.
But one may now question again.
Yes.
The inconsistency. Where you've served for many years in private practice, 17 years, then you move to public prosecutions. Then again, after serving for another, say, 5 years, actually almost 6 years, now again, you are crossing back now again to public service. Of course, this time
Yes.
round you are moving to you want to become a judge.
Very well.
So one may question again, maybe if we give you a position of a judge,
Yes.
you may again be dissatisfied and want again to go back to private practice again now at that time.
Yes.
You know, I don't know whether you see
I'm
the
seeing that,
inconsistency.
Commissioner.
How do you then convince the commission
Yes.
that indeed that the desire to serve the public, the way you are saying, is one that is consistent and one that is not motivated by any other reason other than wanting to serve the public as you state?
Yes, if you look at my history in public service, I began with Embu, I moved to Garissa, then I moved to the Supreme Court. But what prompted me now to move back to private practice was the situation that was at home. Because we had an issue about succession matter, and there were family disputes that were ongoing, and two of my sisters were unwell. My mother was alone, some of my brothers were out of the country. So there was no fallback. So best
Caroline, Commissioner, karibu sana. I don't know whether your seat is comfortable. It looks like a bit low. Maybe you could adjust it.
It's okay.
Okay, all right. All the best.
Asante. Can you please?
Thank you. Yes, please use that.
Thank
Is
you,
put
Sir.
there for you. Yes. You will confirm to us your county and ethnicity.
Thank you, Madam CJ. My county is Busia County. My ethnicity is Luya.
We will go into the interview to assess you on your application for the position of the judge, and the first set of questions will be read by Commissioner Macharia.
Thank you, CJ.
Okay, Mheshimiwa, we were with you not so long ago, as you rightly said.
Yes.
And congratulations, because you ascended now to a position of the Chief Magistrate.
That's true, Commissioner.
And you are picked from amongst many.
Yes.
That speaks to your skills. But then the question would be, now that you've not even enjoyed the first salary, whether we should allow you to enjoy it first, exercise the new expanded jurisdiction and the immense powers.
Yes.
Then you know, you can always come back again now to take a shot at the position of the, you know, of a judge. I don't know what you would say about that.
Thank you, Commissioner. And let me begin by appreciating the Commission for giving the opportunity to be a Chief Magistrate not so long ago. I'm actually hoping I can get my first salary in the course of the day, so that at least as I get to the next position, I've had the opportunity to feel what it is to be a Chief Magistrate. Of course, in addition, since then, I've been able to exercise that mandate at the court. But probably more importantly is because looking at my years of experience, I've actually begun my 27th year post-admission as an advocate, 20 of them which have been in the judiciary. And also looking at my skills, I believe I am judge ready, and I'm looking at the position of Chief Magistrate as being allowed to have one step on a stone, getting to the next one. So I'm ready to jump to the position of judge, if allowed to.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Now, two more questions. The first one is, in your career now as a judicial officer, I noticed you've also largely been at the practice in the Chief Registrar's office.
That's true.
Now, of course, you'll appreciate that there are also many other applicants.
Yes.
Both from within and without.
Yes.
Now, what would you consider to be the biggest impact you've made? And when we talk about impact, it should be judge-related, experience that is relevant to that position of a judge, now not administrative, that you think then, when it comes now to consideration of the others, you stand on higher ground, as it were, to be amongst those who should be considered for that position.
Thank you, Commissioner. In addition to my other experiences as an advocate and as a judicial officer, I've had the privilege of serving in the performance committee, and I've actually gone to virtually every court in this country and had the opportunity to even engage the judges of the High Court and courts of equal status, and even the Court of Appeal in terms of their judicial performance. And in the course of that experience, I've been able to gain firsthand what goes on in the High Court, specifically for this purpose. And I've been able to see the challenges, I've been able to see the work that they do at the station. I've been able to look at the administrative work that they undertake, both in the supervisory jurisdiction and also in court, both civil and criminal matters, in addition, of course, to the work that is done by courts of equal status. And over the years, I've been able to see that the engagement we've had with judges specifically has been able to lead to a number of positive outcomes when you look at the upward mobility in terms of performance of the High Court the judges, both at an individual level and also at the station level. And maybe just to give a few, in the past years, we were able to engage judges on the issue about how do you deal with backlog in the stations. Of course, it was drawing from a wide engagement we've had with other judges, and we were able to share that experience. And I have seen courts that I've been able to go to continually improve in terms of their performance, both as a court and also as individual judges. Maybe I could just mention one more thing. Commissioner, when I joined the Office of the Chief Registrar in 2015, it was still very nascent. From the transition from the former Chief Registrar to the immediate former Chief Registrar. And one of the things I did was to take hold or take charge of the legal section or department, in addition to other responsibilities, to just streamline the work that goes in there, which of course included undertaking legal work both within the institution and also outside with the external lawyers. And I believe all this experience has had a positive impact. Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, that's true. I don't doubt that at all. But now, again, one may say that the position you are seeking as a judge is to determine disputes, to primarily hear cases.
Yes.
Which means then that your experience, which is largely administrative, which has had an impact, there's no doubt about it. You've played a critical role, nobody would doubt that. But then, probably now being a chief magistrate, you now have an opportunity of now sitting down and hearing cases, determining and coming up with the decisions, which will now play you in a greater position now to assign to become a judge. I don't know how what would be your response to that?
Thank you, Commissioner. Since 2017, I had the privilege to be the inaugural acting chair of the Micro and Small Enterprise Tribunal when it was set up. And also from March 2020, I've been sitting as a virtual court for Ruto law courts before going there fully last year in September. So basically, I have had that experience of doing actual judicial work since 2017. The only actual gap was 2015 when I left Nyamira to 2017. When I took up the responsibilities to set up the Micro and Small Enterprise Tribunal. So basically, I am a practicing magistrate with that experience. I'm not going to begin afresh in spite of my administrative responsibilities that I've had for the last almost 8 years.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Were, Honorable Were, let me also add my voice in congratulating you for being appointed the Chief Magistrate.
Thank you, Commissioner.
One or two questions from me. What is the doctrine of legitimate expectation?
Thank you, Commissioner. The doctrine of legitimate expectation is whereby a party or a person, based on certain either provisions of the law or pronouncements made, has been put in a place to expect certain things to happen. For example, a good example will be it's a legitimate expectation that when one, for example, joins the judiciary, they'll be able to rise through the ranks to get to certain positions. Or if a right has been given, then that right is going to crystallize at the appropriate time.
All right, fair enough. Imagine that you are sitting in the employment court,
yes,
and a suit is before you, and the plaintiff in that suit says that I was employed on contract, my contract ended, I had legitimate expectation of this contract being renewed.
Yes.
You're a judge. How would you determine such a matter?
Thank you, Commissioner. To determine such a matter, I will go back to the terms that were there in the contract. The first being, was it a fixed term contract?
It was a fixed term contract.
If it was a fixed term contract, then the expectation is that once that term ends, then the contract will end. And then that party can only get a fresh contract, but not a continuation of the same contract.
Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. I also wish to congratulate you, Honorable Were, on your promotion to the position of the Chief Magistrate.
Thank you, CJ.
Is a position of huge responsibility.
That's true.
Yes, and therefore, I want to know from you whether you are happy about that promotion and whether you have any plans or vision or dreams of what you want to do with that position before we give you another one.
Thank you. Madam CJ, to say that I'm happy, I think will be an understatement. I would say that I was thrilled to get that communication about my promotion to the position of Chief Magistrate. I have a lot of plans, and most of them are going to crystallize in the station. Of course, I expect that with that promotion, then number one, my station is going to receive more work because it was previously an SPM station. So generally, number one, I expect more responsibilities with it. But number two, I want to fuse this position with my administrative experience that I've gathered over the years to continue to make the stations, not just the current station, but every station I'm going to serve, to continue to be a center of excellence in terms of provision of services to our clients, whether they are internal clients or external clients.
Very well. Which is your area of law where you feel your strengths lie?
Madam CJ, as a magistrate, we handle virtually everything that is within the jurisdiction of the magistracy, but I deal more with civil matters and also with criminal matters.
Okay. Yes. Now, can you tell us the difference between the mandatory sentence and the minimum sentence? Because we are having a lot of problems with those. There are so many divergent views on the mandatory sentence and the minimum sentence.
Thank you, Madam CJ. The main difference between mandatory sentence and minimum sentence, I'll begin with mandatory. Mandatory is where the law, as well as it previously was, allow me to use that word, prescribed only one sentence, as it was, so that if the sentence was a number of years or death, then that was the only sentence. But minimum sentence is the one that below which a judge or a judicial officer, having considered all circumstances of the case, would not go below, but can enhance, subject to aggravating circumstances that would warrant that. And a good example, Tetu, the Murotetu, what I would call Murotetu 1.
Yes. Is there any difference between Murotetu 1 and 2?
Murotetu 1, okay, the difference between Murotetu 1 and Murotetu 2 was that Murotetu 2 gave clarity in the constitution, called applying it in the widest forms possible. I think that is what judges of the superior courts have taken to do in cases, especially the sexual offences cases, where they have applied the same principle, irrespective of the guidance that was given by Murotetu 2.
In your view, does it bring us into conflict with the principle of the stay and decisis?
To an extent, yes. To an extent, yes. And the reason being that an important aspect about sentencing should be the aspect of certainty in regard to the respective or similar offences. And where for similar offences there is no certainty as to how the sentencing will go within the parameters of the law, then it brings a challenge. And a good example I would give my lady is that in 2011, I think in 2011, when I was SRM in Keroka Law Courts, one of the matters I handled was a stroke 2 matter, robbery with violence matter. And at that point, based on my interpretation then, I did not give the death sentence. Where the matter went on appeal, the judge at the High Court actually confirmed the conviction, but imposed the death sentence. Of course, that time
so what are you going to do as a judge when you have brought these appeals on sexual offences to bring predictability in the law?
My lady, I would go by the decisions, because that will be the High Court. I will look at the decisions. At that time, the latest decisions that would have come from the Court of Appeal. So that at that point, I am aware that I am bound by the principle of precedent, and therefore I would not want to upset the decisions of the higher court in terms of the directions they have given on the sentencing of similar matters. Yes, my lady.
Okay, even where the Court of Appeal has not followed the decision of the Supreme Court?
Where there's a decision of the Supreme Court, of course, that will be the binding decision. Yes, my lady.
Okay.
Yes.
Very well. Justice Ibrahim.
Thank you, Honorable CJ. Your Honor, I have a few questions for you. I also congratulate you on your promotion to be a Chief Magistrate.
Thank you.
Yes.
So that it supports the evidence of the primary witness.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, where is corroboration mandatory? Corroborating evidence mandatory? Because we also know in some cases,
yes,
the circumstantial evidence is admissible. Circumstantial evidence.
That's true.
But where is it, or rather, where is does the law require that as much as possible there should be corroboration?
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, if the court is convinced, and that is why it then calls for the court to be able to, in the course of the ruling or the judgment, the judge or the magistrate would require to bring that out in the in the ruling or judgment as to why they are going to rely on the evidence of one person. Of course, it would to be where the evidence is clear. For example, identification is not in dispute, and the perpetrator is probably known to the victim, and where no one else would have been available, maybe except for the purpose of evidence like that of a doctor who comes after the fact.
Okay.
Yes.
Section 124 of the Evidence Act. The areas where when a court is allowed to accept the evidence of a sole witness. Yes. Okay. I was trying to point out the section.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah. Now, in your career as a magistrate,
yes,
is there a case where you feel that your decision was standing out? It was even in that context a milestone in the jurisprudence of your court. Because jurisprudence is not only made in the High Court.
That's true.
Yeah, even in the magistracy.
I think the case that comes to mind almost immediately is the case I've just mentioned in Keroka. Of course, I was trying to test the jurisprudence and case law for that matter, because at that point we did not have jurisprudence on any other sentence apart from the death sentence for stroke 2 matters.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Lastly, I saw in some of the comments given internally by DPOC,
yes,
that you are very committed in your work, and they gave an example that to show your commitment, you are able to assist the rural courts in hearing cases before you are assigned full-time to that station in sometime in August 2023. Is that correct?
Thank you, Judge, for the compliment. It's true, because I actually began.
I don't know whether it will come to that after my next question. What is a compliment? Okay.
Yes, I began it actually in March 2022, before even we rolled out the Mahakama Popote formally.
Oh.
It was before the formal rollout.
Okay.
Yes.
So where were you at that time, formally posted?
That time I was serving, let me say, full-time at the Chief Registrar's office and at the tribunal.
Okay.
Micro and Small Enterprise Tribunal.
Were you assigned to go and assist in the rule?
Yes, I had a formal assignment.
Okay. In writing?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was worried that you just volunteered to, and I was going to wonder why did you volunteer for, and who gave you authority?
Of course, I had engagement both with the Chief Registrar and the Registrar Magistrate Courts then.
Yeah.
And it was formalized.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine. Okay. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Judge.
Otherwise, I've read your writings.
Yes.
And I've seen the quality of your judgments and rulings.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Good morning once again, Your Honor.
Good morning, Commissioner.
And congratulations on being elevated to the position of Chief Magistrate.
Thank you so much.
As a judge, you'll be expected to interpret the Constitution. What approach would you use? And I would suggest that you make reference to the Constitution and any decided case.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, as a judge, especially of the High Court, one of the mandates that the Constitution gives is the interpretation of the Constitution. I would take what I would call, or what the Constitution calls, a purposive approach in terms of the interpretation should allow for the widest benefit to the parties in terms of the provisions of the Constitution that apply to them at any particular time. So I would take a purposive approach with the interpretation of the Constitution. My apology, I can't think immediately of a specific case.
And the actual article of the Constitution?
I would have to look that up.
Okay, and what is purposive interpretation?
Purposive interpretation is what I would call where you go beyond what I would call the letter of the law into the spirit of the law. in terms of what were the drafters' expectation in providing for some of those provisions in the Constitution that are the subject of the interpretation, so that I'm able to allow for the petitioner or the party to have the widest possible benefit from that provision of the Constitution or article of the Constitution.
Okay. And under Article 2.5, general rules of international law shall form part of the laws of Kenya. What is your understanding?